Hey everyone, welcome to the SSW AI team's Sprint 11 review and retro and Sprint 12 forecast. So let's get right into it. Looking at our sprint goals this sprint, our two goals were to roll out the sprint ceremony skill, otherwise known as Cheetah, to as many SSW teams as possible, and to add Adam's suggestions to Crystal Ball. So for our first sprint goal, we addressed a lot of small issues that kind of plagued Cheetah. So a couple quality of life changes, a save bug, some documentation that were missing, but we didn't have a chance to get other teams beyond the existing Tina and Yakshaver team to use it this sprint. I'll be talking to Luke to get the Eagle Eye team to use it after this sprint. And we spoke with Sylvia from the Time Pro team about using it, and she gave us a lot of insight into the things that we were still lacking. As for adding Adam's suggestion to Crystal Ball, we had a lot of things done that we'll cover later in the sprint backlog, but there are still a few more changes to implement, including a done video. So we'll move on to the sprint details. The details of our sprint. The attendees of it were myself, Lewis, Caleb, Luke, and Willow. Looking at our internal hours, Willow logged around 17 hours with Lewis at 16, Caleb at 15, Luke at 12, and myself and Jim at 8 hours on the project. So taking a look at our sprint backlog, the first thing to call out is Crystal Ball. So I'll pass it on to Lewis to explain this.
Yeah, so just adding a high-level view, and also if you just go to the site real quick, you can see there's a few changes on there. So we've done an hourly breakdown. So at a glance, you can see what the distribution is like for a person on different clients. And also if you scroll up a little bit, you can see a high-level view on the top collaborators. So there are also a few more things. If you scroll up a bit, there's a few more changes that have been applied. So we've added some icons, and also we've cleaned up the filters, not filters, the little stat boxes. I did have a call with Adam in the morning, and he had more feedback, and that is all in a different PBI, which maybe I can share at the end.
Awesome. Looking back, the next thing to cover is a bug that occurred with SSW Tiger. So in this sprint review here with the Eagle Eye team, they found their dashboard was entirely black and white. This was a bug that we noticed once in the past, but couldn't figure out or couldn't reproduce the issue. So I did a bit of investigation into it, and it was primarily because in the template, we had 3 different ways of listing out this font. And basically that was confusing the AI from time to time. And when it messed up and, left out a opening quotation mark, it would just silently cause for all of the styling to fail. That's why we were seeing black and white dashboards with white text. So basically I've gone through and removed those corrupt instances and also added a validation step that basically passes the code and gives a bit of feedback to the agent before it deploys the dashboard. So hopefully if any errors do pop up, the agent can see that error and then address it before deploying the Tiger dashboard. There's no questions here. Then I'll move on to the next issue that we addressed that I want to call out, which is something that we noticed with SSW Tiger around halfway through the week. It was likely something to do with teams perhaps changing something. But basically, Tiger was auto-canceling people's processing without them pressing the button. So I'll pass this on to Willow to explain the fix that she made.
Yeah, I think you might open the wrong PBI.
I am. There you go.
Yeah. So before our endpoint accepts both the post and get, the gateway and the GET request can just immediately cancel the job. So fix this by lets the GET request only renders and shows the confirmation page and needs user to confirm their cancel to do a double check. So only when the user cancel the click the confirm cancel button, and then this will happen. The cancel will happen. And
So, sorry, has anybody showed us what button is canceling things or what's causing this? I understand what she's doing to fix it. I just don't understand the problem.
So the problem here is if I just open this image, you'll see that Tiger has a built-in cancel processing button, which is, obviously for canceling things that you didn't mean to get processed. But I believe it's something to do with the way Teams has possibly changed their link filtering or link secure, like safety checking, where they now send a GET request to this link. And basically what that was doing, it was triggering an effect that was similar to someone pressing the button. So Tiger was detecting a GET request getting sent to this link and then saying, oh, I'm going to cancel the processing because someone's clicked on this link.
All right. I think what you're saying is the cancel button was working, but something was triggering it other than us pressing the button.
Correct.
Yeah. Willow, that's what I would have started with in the demo.
Okay. Okay, got it.
And you now know what was triggering it, do you?
Yeah.
And that was?
Just it was like I'm not sure 100% sure what's triggering this. It's just these GET request is not as secure as post, so I switched to post. So anything that triggers to the GET request will not auto trigger this cancel button anymore. Just human with human click. Yeah.
So you don't know what was causing it, but you've changed the code, so hopefully it goes away.
Yeah, we have tested a lot from after it was deployed to the prod. So anything works fine now, but I will monitor and see if this will happen again.
Okay, but you never reproduced the problem, did you?
I reproduced the problem, and after fixed, the problem didn't happen again.
So just to jump in here, our best guess is that it has to do with the way Teams is kind of checking the security of these links. And they most likely changed something in that process so that it now sends out these GET requests. Since basically every single meeting was getting auto canceled in the same way.
Oh, okay.
So
okay, there was just a lot of language about unsure, guess, and fair. So when Willow says I reproduced it, that's weird because it sounds like it was not really reproducible.
Right. So yeah, basically the issue was happening to every single meeting. And then we just by deduction determined that it was the GET request that was triggering these cancellations.
Right.
Awesome. In that case, I'll keep moving along. Was there anything in the sprint backlog that you wanted to take a look at before I move on to the next part?
No, okay.
Sweet. Taking a look at our sprint velocity, we originally committed to 39 points and only delivered 21, which isn't great. But we had a lot of issues that were near completion. And basically those were the big point getters that separated our delivered from committed. And those things will just be cleaned up in the next sprint. Looking at our R&D, Eddie did a spike on generalizing SSW Tiger for meetings, and it was overall very interesting to look at. I took a look at it this morning, and we'll be pulling it into the next sprint to kind of refine the scope of it and create the relevant action PBIs before closing that issue off. The other thing that we did in terms of R&D was Caleb went in with the Content Hawk installer There's any questions here? If not, I'll keep it moving to the AI tool usage and I'll pass it off to Willow.
Yeah, for AI tool, we haven't had large changes with comparing to the last week. But this week, Luke has hit the minor limit. So he switched to, I think he switched to Codex and solved the problem. And Caleb has been using Yakshay routines. And for others, we didn't change our AI tool. And that's all for the AI tool usage.
Awesome. Thank you, Willow. I'll pass it on to...
Can I just
Yes.
ask about Luke's
Of course.
blockages? Can you just tell me what the blockages were, Luke?
I hit a limit on Cloud Code, and so I switched to Codex. Yeah, so
Right,
it's
okay.
minor. Yeah.
It doesn't say that. It's missing Codex there. Can we add it?
Yes.
And what level subscription are you on, Luke?
I have 2 Cloud Code Pro and 1 ChatGPT Plus, which include Codex. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Oh, so you went with 2 smaller licenses rather than a big license.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. 2
And
is enough for me.
Does that work better than most people who are going for like? Does 2 smaller licenses work almost as well as 20x?
I think 20x is just more usage. Yeah. The model
Right.
itself. Yeah.
But do you think this happened because you're using Opus 4.7 and it eats more tokens?
Yes, I think so. Yeah. I'm using up 4.7. Yeah.
Does it let you go back to 4.6?
I feel like 4.6. I'm using 4.6 default mode, which is using syncing high. So it feels like a bit of like slow and syncs a lot. I'm using 4.7, which is median, and it do things very quickly if I have like specific instruction. So I stick to 4.7.
Okay, all right. But you can go back to 4.6 if you want.
Yes.
Correct.
Okay.
Awesome. We'll move it along and I'll pass it off to Lewis to cover our AI stats.
Thank you. So with the Claude stats, it's basically repeated what we've done through the whole sprint. And if we scroll down to the Copilot stats, so we can see Michael spoke the most, then myself, Caleb, Luke, and then Willow. Yeah, that makes sense because Michael was the sprint person running the sprint today. And for the Copilot stats, so what was the main issue completed? It said that Cheetah quality of life improvements completed, which are accurate. As we didn't have the sprint goals fully completed, this was one part of the Cheetah sprint goal, which is accurate. I hand it over back to you, Michael.
Awesome. We have a couple decisions from the prior meeting, just things that we've called out during the meeting and AI's gone ahead and actioned. And for our backlog changes, we've made a couple PBIs. We've also called out that this section probably can be removed from the template just because it doesn't provide much valuable information to people to read. And it's probably duplicate information that we can just call out elsewhere. So moving into the overall project snapshot, we're at 55 open items on our backlogs with 36 points committed for sprint 12, an average velocity of 26.7 and 20 backlog ready items. I'll go ahead and pass it off to Luke for our sprint retro.
Yeah. So for what went well from Caleb, no distractions. For Michael and Caleb, Adam's talk went well on the console. And from Luis, we have some like good feedback for the crystal ball, and also we have some like good feedback from Time Pro team Sylvia for the cheetah. We'll go to what didn't go so well. So for Michael, we waited too long to record the cheetah CDF, but we can actually do a V1 earlier and get feedback later. Yeah.
Just a quick correction. The AI made a mistake. It's not a cheater CTF video. It's just the CTF video.
Okay. Yeah. And from Luis.
Sorry, are you referring to the playwright CTF?
Correct.
Okay, all right.
I feel like I could have helped out.
Yeah, I had a bit of a long talk with Hark this morning about how he handled that. I don't really think that was your fault. You did as much as you could, but he definitely could have got his video watched. You know, look, one of the things you got to be careful at is he did as best he could, and then he said someone else will finish it. Well, who's the someone else? Michael or the Frenchies, or some vague feeling that somebody else would bring it home. So you've got to be careful when other people throw things over the fence and hope somebody else on the other side of the fence will do it. You've got to be very clear. Like in this case, the best you could have done, Michael, is you could have coached Hark. Okay, this is sounding risky. I think I need to contact a senior like Callum or Cookie or Wixie or what's going to happen here, because I'm getting a bad feeling that it might not be ready.
Yep.
Yeah, but I think what you did is you said, oh, look, if it doesn't work out, Harks, we've got plenty of other topics. We'll just do it. So he thought it doesn't matter. And
yeah, you're right.
And basically, I was up till 2 o'clock in the morning trying to get a new one all together. Yeah. So somebody had to fix it in the end. So yeah, I think that's the best takeaway for that.
Yeah, I definitely should have been more proactive with coaching Hark on, you know, reaching out to a senior earlier, and getting it checked. Yeah,
but I think he's crystal clear. Don't throw things over the fence. He's got to be checking himself.
Awesome.
Yep. I will continue. Yeah, from Luis. So Luis was trying to contact Adam for Crispo on Wednesday, but Adam is too busy, and he should have like sent some message like to Adam. From me. So for
hold on, just on that one, I think that's a fairly important one. Lewis, if what you're after and you can't get me on the Wednesday because I'm speaking at an event, you could say, all right, well, I definitely need to work on it tomorrow. So I'm going to send a delayed message on Teams. Watch this now, because I'm on client work today, or you could say, I'm going to call you quickly during lunch to make sure that you've watched it. So if you don't want to call, watch it before my lunch or whatever. Use some technique so that it doesn't, or hand it over to someone and say, hey, Adam, I'm going to hand this over to Luke Mao. He's going to watch it with you tomorrow because I'm on client work or whatever.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah. Do something. Yeah.
Yeah. Noted. Thank you.
Yeah. And one point from me. So Jim and I was testing Copilot. So we found some like model from Microsoft is not stable. It was through errors and doesn't like respect the system prompts. And we are falling back to GPT 4.1. Yeah. So this is something is not going smooth. Yeah. And improvements from next sprint. So Michael will work with me to use the cheetah for Eagle Eye sprint review. And by the way, Michael, so Eagle Eye should be one word. You can add this.
Yes.
Sure.
Yeah. Awesome. Any questions here? If not, we can move on to the forecast section. So taking a look at our sprint forecast, our sprint goals will be to get the Eagle Eye team using Cheetah for their next sprint review, which is scheduled for next Monday. I'll be calling Luke after this meeting and we'll be getting that hashed out. So any issues that, block that, I'll work on getting those unblocked throughout the week. And then
do you know all the sprint reviews coming up?
I do not know all of them, but I know a few of them.
Okay, there is an there is an easy leave one. I think it's on tonight or tomorrow night.
Right.
That's with the Frenchies. I would be doing a little test of it. Now that's a sub part of TimePro. Maybe we just don't want to support that type of thing, where we only support the main one. It might not be useful doing a sub part of a backlog. But then,
Yeah.
then again, it might be. But you can just try it out and decide whether you want to do it or not.
Yeah, I can definitely do a test run and then make it.
But clearly, I just want the main scenarios supported, not left of center ones.
Yep, can do. And our second sprint goal is to get the crystal ball done video out. So that's something for Lewis to get done this week. Obviously, if he gets pulled onto client work during the week, he can hand it off to someone else or, let you know about it.
Okay. Now with these, can these two have prefixes? Like crystal ball dash done video?
Oh, yes.
And the other one should be cheetah. Yeah. Beautiful. I think you should be aiming for more than just eagle eye, but isn't there more?
So eagle eye is the one we're certain we can get done. The Time Pro team need a couple of changes with regards to how the skill is running to make it worthwhile.
Is there anyone else who hasn't tried it yet that we know
of? So I've spoken with
design
Penny for the design team. The main thing is Azure DevOps isn't quite as advanced as the GitHub integrations, so we will need to work on that a little bit. I've spoken with Penny.
There is a CLI for Azure DevOps, isn't there?
There is. I think we just haven't allocated the time to build it out just yet.
Right.
I would focus on all the teams that use GitHub and worry about Azure DevOps last.
Sounds good. We can prioritize the GitHub using teams first, and then
all the GitHub guys. Yep.
Sounds good. Moving on to our sprint details, we've again committed 40 points, but a lot of it is things that are already in progress from last sprint. So we'll just be cleaning most of those up. The team for this week is Luke and Caleb, who both have 2 days. Jim and Willow, who have the remainder of the day as their client starts tomorrow. And myself, who has 4 days, and Lewis, who's on 5, but he's called out the risk of him potentially being booked on a client work sometime this week. Taking a look at, this is our sprint backlog that we've planned for the upcoming week. So, bunch of separate things from Cheetah to Crystal Ball to Sophie GPT, Content Hawk, and just wrapping up the CTF. So on my end, it'll just involve, updating a couple forms and things here and there. And I'll also be checking in with Hark on the progress of the video throughout the week. There's no questions there. I'll pass it off to Lewis for the AI stats as well as the Tiger dashboard.
Yep. So for Claude stats, for the next steps, it's basically what's in the sprint backlog for next week. Nothing much to point out there. For the Copilot stats, what's the next item to do next? Get the Eagle Eye team using Cheetah sprint ceremony skill, which is exactly what the sprint goal is. So that's accurate. And I'm just going to quickly pick up the screen share for the Tiger dashboard. So we can see everything that we mentioned here for velocity, the sprint goals. What I found funny was that it mentioned how many decisions we made per hour. So we made 12.5 decisions per hour. I think that's pretty efficient there.
Can you bump up the font?
I can, yes.
Thanks.
On the insights, so health X-ray was a C-. I don't think we've ever had it this low. I think it was because it says here avoiding harsh conversations and low accountability, which I think made sense. Callum Pro wasn't here to kind of point out anything that people were trying to avoid saying out loud, but it looks like Tiger has picked them up. So here we have the market fit problem. So it's basically how Time Pro's use case was different from other people's. So now we're gonna have to kind of change to fit them. And also, this is just about client work. And down here,
what is the problem with Time Pro exactly? Do we cover that?
Because they use a lot of screenshots and we haven't hooked it up So the way their sprint reviews is to have a bit of information, but most of the effort in creating the sprint review comes from the screenshots of different graphs and a lot of
Right.
different things, which we haven't had time to kind of, like, let's say use Playwright MCP or something to hook up
Sure.
a screenshotting thing.
But even if we're not grabbing the screenshots, it should still save a little bit of time because it gives you a place to put all the screenshots, doesn't it? So I would have thought it would still be an improvement on the fully manual email, but I don't know.
It depends, because the manual email method, you can just right click, like you can just copy the old email and just right click replace with clipboard. Whereas the new way,
Right.
you would have to go, what did the old sprint have that the new sprint needs?
So you're saying
Right.
looking at the image of the old one was very useful.
It was how I did old sprint reviews. I would reply to the old, like the last week's sprint review, and then just copy the picture and then replace in the clip, replace that picture directly, because
But
it gave the.
are you saying the helpful part of it was you could see the image that was used last week, and it would tell you more than having an empty spot for an image?
Yeah, more so, and also because it would have the figure be a link to the place that I needed to go find the picture in.
But surely both those things can be done with Cheetah, right? You can put the last image there, and you can
Yeah,
put
it can.
the figure with the link.
We just haven't had the, like, an initialized skill or something to pull out all these details from the email itself.
Right. Okay. I don't fully get it, but okay.
So basically, we currently, the way it's working is that we're feeding the old email into AI and basically getting it to generate a custom template for Cheetah to generate these for you. But right now, it still requires a bit of editing afterwards to include certain links, etc. And we just haven't gotten around to doing that just yet for the Time Pro team.
Right.
Yep. So the buried opportunity. So this was Sylvia's feedback, but it wasn't actually a buried opportunity, and I think that's all. There's nothing else to really point out. I guess there's the graveyard. Yeah. So we have the adoption struggles with Time Pro, but we're working on that. There's a video still being in the works by Lydia, and this week we've overcommitted, but there were a few unforeseen things that came up that resulted in less being done this week. And that's all for the Tiger stats. I'll hand it back to you, Michael.
Thank you, Lewis. So you can find all of our sprint review and planning meetings on the SSW AI channel. Thank you all for joining me today. I'll see you all next week.
Thanks, Mike. Bye.